So S3A is a 5-year program grant. It was awarded in 2013. It started around April 2014 and has been running through to June this year. And it's a relatively large project involving 3 universities and the BBC. And hopefully, during the course of presentations today, you'll see that we've really been working as one team throughout the project, starting from actually how we framed the project right at the start. And one of the nice things about S3A in particular in the program grant scheme is the flexibility we've had around how we've shaped the project as we've gone along. And that was very much the intention and the brief from EPSRC at the start. It was actually quite scary for us as a management board not to have a plan written down of exactly what we were doing and delivering, but I think it's worked very well in terms of some of the activities that have come out of the project. And so the kind of initial vision, and actually this came from a conversation with Phil Nelson, I think, a very brief conversation about how computer vision could be used to support audio reproduction. And that was the starting point, certainly for me. But what we wanted to do in the project was really to look at how we can deliver the kind of immersive audio experiences that you can have in a controlled lab setting into someone's living room, and what are the practical ways of doing that, and actually the key to that being what do people need to perceive, or what's the perception of spatial audio that's important to people in that setting. So it's very much framed around understanding perception of spatial audio and that informing then the technical work on the project. And so the partners were made up in that respect. What we've looked at is an object-based representation for spatial audio, because that gives the flexibility, and you'll hear a lot more about how that's being used. And in terms of the key strands to the project, certainly listener-centered reproduction. So reproducing the audio to listeners, say, at a specific location, taking into account the environment and things like the environmental noise there. And reproduction in a perceptually accurate way was the target from the start, and you'll see some things we've done have gone in that direction. Other things that we've done have gone in a different direction, but still with the aim of immersive experiences. And at the end of the day, for the consumer, very important that we don't tie to a specific reproduction device. And there's a key point to understand here, that the way most audio content is produced is for a specific reproduction device, whether it's cinema or it's TV. You assume in the production that you know where the audio is going to end up. And it's essentially everything's set in that framework in terms of broadcast, in terms of other forms of media. What we wanted to do here was use the object-based representation to get around some of those things. So the project was set up with different streams of research and a set of challenges to bring essentially the teams together across the years. I won't go through all of these, but essentially we followed reasonably the initial framework. There will be much more on the technical content today. I'm just going to summarize some of the key areas. So one was object-based audio production. You'll hear from Phil Coleman in a minute about some of the frameworks for that, and that was one of the key things. And also putting in meters to essentially measure the quality and intelligibility of the content to support the production side of things. Another was adapting to the listener, so using computer vision, for instance, to understand where the listener is, to understand their environment, but also adapting in terms of the intelligibility of the content, the environmental noise, the listening situation, and looking at some of those things, and the narrative importance of the content, and both the speech and the sounds that support the storytelling, for instance, in a drama. And then one of the things we've done from that is look at new forms of audio experience. So technologies like the soundbar technology, which is being commercialized through Audio Scenic, media device orchestration, where you're using lots of ad hoc devices that someone may have in their home, and that's not perceptually accurate in terms of a 3D experience, but it creates a very immersive kind of content, and you'll see some of that today. and also immersive experiences. And of course, in parallel with this project, one of the big commercial activities has been around VR technology. There's also a set of tools that have come out of the project to support production of object-based audio, and I think this is the first open source framework for object-based audio production, a set of tools to support that.